Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're digging into a story that was almost completely erased from history. It's all about how a simple 10 rupee book kicked off this massive educational revolution, and yeah, the powerful people who tried to shut it all down. So let's just jump right into it, shall we? The source material we're looking at today makes this pretty shocking claim right from the get-go. It says, the disappearance of this story, it wasn't an accident. Nope, it wasn't just forgotten over time. This was supposedly a deliberate, totally organized act of suppression. All right, so at the very heart of this mystery is this huge allegation, an organized cover-up. The sources we've got point their finger at a really powerful business group. And for them, one man's vision wasn't some gift to the nation. Oh no, they saw it as a direct threat to their bottom line, to their profits. But wait, to really get why a simple little book could be that revolutionary, we've got to rewind. Let's go back to Sri Lanka in the 1980s. See, the country's entire future was kind of on the line, all because of this massive, deepening crisis in its education system. And you have to understand, it's hard to overstate just how much of a beacon for education Sri Lanka used to be. I mean, think about it. Back in the 1960s, it had the second highest literacy rate in all of Asia. The only country ahead of them was Japan. That's incredible. But then, look at this. In just 2 decades, the nation plummeted. I mean, it went from second place all the way down to 9th. And as you can see from this chart right here, this wasn't just a little slip. It was a complete freefall. And it put the future of millions of kids at risk.
Things got so bad, so critical, that the United Nations, through UNESCO, basically laid down the law. They issued this stark ultimatum to the government. It was a clear, unambiguous threat. Fix this crisis, or you can say goodbye to crucial international support. The government was completely cornered.
So out of this huge national crisis, one man steps forward. And he's got a solution that's, well, it's deceptively simple, but as we'll see, incredibly powerful. And this is him, Dr. Dhammadesha Ambalampitiya. Now, after talking with experts from all over the world, he has this profound realization, this aha moment. The problem wasn't that kids didn't want to read. Of course they did. The real problem was that their parents were just too poor to buy them books. Simple as that. Okay, so here's the absolute game changer. Back then, a single children's book would set you back 40 to 50 rupees. For a poor family, that's a huge amount of money. So what did Dr. Ambalampitiya and his organization, the Colombo Children's Book Society, or CCBS, do? They did the unthinkable. They started producing high-quality books for just 10 rupees. They completely shattered the market. And the story goes, according to our source, that when he created that very first affordable, high-quality book, he literally ran to the Ministry of Education shouting, "Eureka, I found it!" And you get it, right? This wasn't just about a book. It was the key to unlocking his nation's potential all over again. Now, the education minister, he was ecstatic. He immediately ordered 1,000 copies. But that victory was very, very short-lived, because a powerful, kind of shadowy opposition was just about to emerge from the woodwork and fight back hard. The source we're using actually has a name for this group, the Invisible Force. It describes them as this corrupt cartel of businessmen and government officials who looked at that little 10 rupee book and didn't see a solution. They saw a direct threat to their very lucrative business. And this is where the motive becomes crystal clear. Check this out. This cartel had a deal worth 1 to 2 crores a year. We're talking 10 to 20 million rupees annually just from selling those overpriced books to the ministry. So the CCBS's 10 rupee book, it wasn't just competition. It was a complete death blow to their whole business model. So what did they do? They launched this ruthless, systematic campaign to shut him down. They got the CCBs blocked from all media coverage. They had his books banned from shops. And get this, according to the source, they even stole printing machines and aid that had been sent by UNESCO. They were literally trying to erase Dr. Ambalampitiya and everything he built from the history book. But, despite this total media blackout, the power of a good idea and a 10 rupee book just couldn't be completely contained. In the shadows, away from the spotlight, the CCBS was quietly changing lives, forging actual legends. Just listen to this incredible story. There was this young, exhausted author who'd had his book rejected by every single bookshop in Colombo. Can you imagine? Totally humiliated, he finally stumbles into the CCBS office. And what happens? They don't just accept his book. They give him water. They pay him in advance. And that young man? He grew up to be Dr. Hasantha Hediarachi, who now heads the independent television network. Wow. And that's not all. They also discovered Sri Lanka's very first child author. Dr. Ambalampitiya personally went to bat for him, helped him get a spot at a prestigious college. And today, that kid is now a respected medical specialist. These are the kinds of lives, the kinds of futures that this cartel was trying to silence. So yeah, they tried to bury this entire history under a mountain of silence and corruption. But here's the thing. A legacy that's built on empowering millions of kids, well, that's just impossible to erase forever. And the proof of this silenced revolution? It's undeniable. The CCBS helped publish 2,000 new children's titles in just one decade. It founded the super influential Sisru Dana student savings concept, and hey, despite that local media blackout, it won a prestigious UNESCO gold medal. The truth? Well, it finds a way. And all of this kind of brings us to our final thought for today. The story of the Colombo Children's Book Society, it's a really powerful, really specific example of a much bigger question, right? It makes you wonder, how many other quiet revolutions, how many other brilliant ideas and stories of progress have been deliberately hidden from us, just for the sake of profit? It's a huge reminder to always question the histories we're told, and maybe, just maybe, to go looking for the ones that have been silenced.